Good afternoon and welcome to Paul T's World. And in this video, we're going to have a look at the garden in April and see what's in flower and blossoming beautifully in spring in northwest England. And we have to start straight away with the Amelanchier. It's looking absolutely gorgeous. I would say it's at its full height now. It has the lovely white flowers in spring, and then in autumn, the leaves go a nice colour. The Magnolia stellata is just past its best now. Came out very early, as per usual. But just behind, we have the rhododendrons, and they're taking over. Well, this one is anyway. The one next to it will flower in another month or so. The contorted hazel is now getting its first little leaves. Aren't they cute? The little fresh green leaves of spring. This Pittosporum is a few years old now. I bought it when it was really small and it took a few years to get going, but now it's really put on some growth. Just underneath the red robin, with its new, fresh red leaves. And when these leaves turn green, you can cut it back again and it'll produce more red leaves. So far the leaves aren't on the trees. That'll happen more in early May. The sparrows are chirping in the beech hedge. The lilac Kim has got its leaves now. In fact, I can see the new flower buds are starting. And just underneath, we've got the peonies. They've really put on some growth. I've got a little row of peonies here, as you can see, with their red stems. These four are more advanced than these. These are quite young. These are quite small. Oh, and look behind here. These are the tree lilies. Look at this. Oh, this first lily is really growing. There's one just behind, and I can just see there behind that one, a third one. I have three here. Obviously, these two are much stronger. This is a white borage. The bees love the borage. Self-seeded. Further along, we've got the flowering shrubs that we saw in the last video. Oh, and here's the malus. Crabapple. Flowers are just starting there. They'll open up in the next week. A quick look at that white hydrangea, the macrophylla, that I cut right back, and it's really putting on a lot of growth. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting how much this flowers this year. The penstemons flower beautifully every summer, and my job is to cut those right back. So it's time to cut them back now. Let's just see if there's any growth down here. Here's all the new growth down here, and that will be encouraged when I cut these right back. I'm going to cut them back to about 6 inches. Let's move over to the hydrangea bed. See how these paniculatas are doing. They're rather slower to get going than the macrophyllas, which is why they can take a harder winter, because their buds start later. Yep, they're starting nicely. Here we are. Here's a little quick fire. Your brieches in full flower. The azaleas, some azaleas have got going. Oh, here's a lovely one. This is a new one that I bought last year. Let's just jump over the bed. Isn't that pretty? It's variegated with red flowers. The oak leaf hydrangea starting to put on its new leaves. Oh, and there's an azalea, it's very early. And here is another one that will be out in the next week or two. And the hostas. Hostas are starting up. Beautiful. So this is a hydrangea bed of paniculatas, azaleas, that's evergreen azaleas. These are all evergreen azaleas, interspersed with hostas. And a wedding cake tree, just to finish off the bed. Before we move through to the back garden, I just want to show you this. These are the cannas that were in these pots by the front door. This one is the Pretoria, and this is the Stuttgart. And as we can see here, they've survived the winter. There we are, some shoots starting here. And I had these in the garage. It's a detached garage, unheated, all winter. Just like that. I just put them straight in the garage, left them, and I got them out last week. I'll empty them all out, split them up, and redo these pots in the next few weeks. Past a fabulous candy tuft. The azaleas flower beautifully every year, but they don't all flower together. This red one here flowers early, but this white one, this one flowers beautifully, but it's very late. It's the last one I have. I'm being followed round the garden, of course, by the robin, who's keeping a close eye on proceedings. And my robin here is looking rather pleased with himself, and I'll tell you why. He's got a girlfriend, and he's got a girlfriend who's on the nest. So I'm feeding him, and he feeds the female on the nest. Don't you? You have lots of free food to impress your mate, don't you? He has an easy time of it. He gets his mealworms from me, hands them over to the female, and she thinks he's great. And he is. We have another tree lily here. Now there are 3 here. This one has come up already, but I can't see the other 2. The escallonia tends not to do very well in the winter. And also it's got a little bit of black spot that I'm not so keen on. There's a little lime in the pot. I put some chicken pellets on the surface there that'll soak through to feed it. Tetrapanax that was in the pot all winter. And the climbing roses are putting on a lot of leaves. I've also fed them with some chicken pellets. I'm actually going to put some manure on there, which would be much better. Better to feed the soil than the plants. But at the moment, I haven't got any manure, so it's going to have to be chicken pellets. Another evergreen azalea and an aeonium. This aeonium spent the winter in the porch. Just in here, where I do have still some aeonium and some cuttings of hydrangeas I did last year. This shrub here that I cannot remember the name of just at the moment, but I'll put it up on the screen. It's very pretty at this time of the year and it flowers nicely. But one thing you have to be careful of with these is they do form a thicket. So see here, it sends runners out, and so you get lots of new growth all around, which can be quite nice, but it also is invasive really. You've got to keep on top of it. Otherwise it will take over. but pretty at this time of the year. I hope you've enjoyed this look around the front garden in April in northwest England, and I'll see you next time in Paul T's World. Bye.